All of us are born naturally abundant. We come into this world in an abundant state, no matter where we're born, if we were birthed on the street, in a home, in a five-star hotel, in a hospital setting. Abundance is our natural birthright. That's why that gift of life, when you see a brand new newborn, they're so innocent and it radiates, and the smell of a brand new baby. And then what happens is we absorb things like a sponge from our environment, from external factors like being marketed to, propaganda, things based on race, things based on religion, things based on geography, things based on economic class, how people treat us, how people talk to us. Then we get an imprint and start relating to the world based on this stuff. And you don't know this going on when you're going through life until you end up in a shit show of a relationship when it comes to money, when it comes to being able to make money, how you make money, saving money, what you think it takes and what you think is required to be successful. And it is such a highly sensitive, emotionally charged topic, which is why I am honored and privileged and delight in helping you heal it, in teaching it to you, hopefully in a somewhat entertaining way, because this is your path back to abundance. Why am I getting so emotional right now saying this? And this is right off the top of the show. Probably because this is part 4 in the series, and this is the abundance imprint. This is where I want you to go. And believe it or not, there are some people that have a heavy abundance imprint just because they had highly conscious parents, parents who had done work around money. It's not because they were wealthy. It's not because they were white privilege. It's not necessarily because of any of that. It's because of the work I'm talking about today. They had a clean, abundant mindset when it came to anything that had to do with success and wealth. But the beautiful thing is you get to restore yourself back to this state today. I don't care what age you are, how much financial drama and trauma you've had. I don't care if you just had something happen yesterday. You get to do it, but only if you make the choice to be humble and willing to take wildly different action and dive in with me. But it's here for you. I've done it for myself. I've helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people heal this and come back to an abundant state. And it's where everything you want is waiting for you. It really is all there. Let's go. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your mindset, your relationship, your abundance, and everything in between. This is probably going to be maybe one of the more activating episodes of this 4-part series, because when you have that realization, if you do not identify as having the abundance imprint, maybe you do today as an adult because you've done work, whether it's with me or you've done work on healing your money wounds. When you realize there are people who fucking are naturally like this, it's like when my therapist said to me, was it last week during our session? We were talking about, was it attachment styles? Or maybe it was in the interview I have coming up with an attachment theory expert. Maybe it was that. Anyway, I said, are there people who truly are securely attached, like naturally? Like they don't fear abandonment. They don't get into codependent dynamics, none of that. And she goes, there's a lot. And the percentage she gave was wild. I feel like it was in somewhere in the 30 something percent. And it was so shocking to me. And I go, well, I don't know any of them. But it's also because, like attracts, we're the land of the misfit toys over here at Project Me. And I fucking love you guys. Thank God. We're not of sound mind. We have a lot of collective traumas and experiences and dramas and shit that we're working through, and that's okay. But I know when you can hear these traits that I'm going to go through of identifiers of being in the abundance imprint, some of you are going to go, you know what? I actually have some of those today. And I want you to acknowledge and be proud of yourself, that you healed stuff and you worked through some stuff. So you have those. I have a lot of the abundance imprints. Okay. But it is good for you to identify what your core imprint was, even if you've done a ton of the work, because guess what your default mode is? Your default setting goes back to whatever that initial imprint was. My default is anxiously abundant. So when I'm in fear, if I'm not doing my manifestation practices, if I'm not taking my abundance walks, my abundance baths, if I'm not working with my relationship with spirit, with my higher power, with God, doing things to take care of myself, I absolutely will slip in to my anxiously abundant traits and out of my abundance imprint, even with all the work that I do, even though I'm the one who coaches and teaches on this shit. Okay. I'm human just like you. So you can, just like I talk about the abundance zone, you're going to fall in and out of the abundance zone no matter how much work you do. But the goal is to stay in it as much and for as long as possible, and then have this level of awareness to know when you've slipped out of it and when you're in the abundance zone, because you want to be aware when you're in there because it's fucking fun being there, and acknowledge it and be grateful for it. But then you'll also have the tools if you decide to go deeper with me and take my Make More Work Less Money course. That would be like the next level deeper. Is that even a phrase? Next level deeper? I don't think so. We know that sometimes my words don't make sense, but you know what I'm saying. You want to go there, I would do the money course. And then you want to take it to another level. My once a year, 2-day live in person Project Me Mastermind event is coming up in October 1st and 2nd. You're like, coming up. The registration is going to open for it. And this sold out last year in less than a week. Okay. And we're taking probably 30 people. I mean, 30 of you guys in person, I think is probably our max. All right. I can feel it out depending, but I don't think it'll be more than that. And 5 of these spots are already gone. They were claimed by private clients of mine. They get first dibs. My posse members get second dibs. But in order to make sure that you are the first to grab it, you've got to be on my VIP list. So it's my Secret Posse Weekly Digest. It's my email list. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. It's right here in the show notes. You can swipe up. It's in the description on YouTube. It's in my link in bio on TikTok and on Instagram. And you want to be on this list anyway. You want my emails. Okay. I share lots of stories, behind the scenes stuff, a lot more raw and personal stuff, plus manifestation tips and exercises that you can't get anywhere else. So it truly is a VIP list. But my point is, don't just stay in having this information, right? I'm giving you the information and helping you connect the dots, which is a vital part of the process. But don't allow yourself to stay there. It's kind of like just reading the books, just listening to the podcast, talking about it with friends. Wonderful. But staying in that spot is not going to have you heal these wounds. You actually have to take action and unpack it. And that's why I just gave you next steps on where you can go if you truly do not want to have this wreaking havoc in your life anymore. And I feel like I say this expression all the time, wreaking havoc. And I don't think I'm even saying it right. Wreaking, I don't think it's wreaking. Wreaking is when something smells. Is it wreaking havoc? And if that's how you say it, I don't like it. Wreaking, where did this come from? I feel like we need to look this up, but I'm not going to. I'm sure one of you will tell me. And then there's several of you who are probably laughing and going, that is absolutely not the expression. I never claimed that I was good at these things. There are a select handful of things I'm great at. And there's a lot of things I'm not interested in and I'm not great at. And that's okay. We don't need to be good at that many things. We're if I was meant to be good at all the things, I'd be good at all the things. Now I'm going off on a tangent. All right, let's unpack this abundance imprint in part 4. So, when you grow up in an abundantly minded household, it of course can have positive impacts in your relationship with money, but it can also have some unexpected impacts with your relationship with money and success as an adult. And I know some of you might be thinking, well, it's obvious, right? Like you want to be abundant. So, like, everything you touch turns to gold and like you don't have any issues around money. No, that'd be like saying you grew up in a house that was very functional and open with discussing emotions and very loving and affectionate and positive and affirming. And there was never any arguments and there was never any difficulty. That's not possible. And if that was happening, then that's a dysfunction in of itself. Okay. So, number 1, confidence in financial decisions. So, if your family viewed money positively and made confident financial decisions, you're likely to approach financial matters with similar confidence, right? So, this can lead to you being more assertive and asking for what you need financially, asking for a raise, even negotiating things in business, asking questions, right? Feeling comfortable with not knowing certain things about finances or money and asking questions and hiring experts and not feeling any type of way about it. Healthy risk taking, an abundant mindset can encourage you to take more calculated risks. So if your household supported like entrepreneurial and like ventures, investments, really encouraged out of the box, trying new things. It's great to try new things. It's okay if you fail, you fail forward and you had that kind of messaging. You're likely someone who's more comfortable starting a business, investing in the stock market, recognizing that the only way to have substantial rewards are to take risks in life. And what a wonderful way to be raised. And I have met many of these people. In fact, many of my fellow successful entrepreneurs were raised in this way. That's why at the beginning of the show in the opener, I say, like, I'm not your typical entrepreneur. Like, the odds were stacked against me. I was not raised by this. And both of my parents were entrepreneurs. So you would think, well, wouldn't Tiffany be comfortable and feel safe being an entrepreneur? No, because my mom made it look like hell being an entrepreneur. And my dad was so evasive and non-communicative because he's like a severe avoidant attachment person and for sure on the spectrum and I wasn't with him that much. So I didn't really pick up much from him. My grandfather was an entrepreneur too. He had a roofing business. I did know that it made money. I did know that there was a payoff. But what I was taught was that there was an extreme sacrifice for that payoff. And I wanted fucking nothing to do with it. My mom would tell me, do not be an entrepreneur, have your own business. Probably because she knew my ass would be more successful than her. Just saying. Okay. And I am. And zero fucks given. Zero fucks given. I'm saying this more and more lately, and I'm delighting in it. I really hope you do too. So, with that being said, with the healthy risk taking, you can also see when I'm sharing these things of the abundance imprint, what the financial payoff is of you doing the healing work around your money noise, because this is what's waiting for you, where you will take the risk because you're going to be okay regardless. And there is no great reward without great risk, and you're worth taking a risk on. Generosity and being able to give without worried of you not having enough. Okay. So having that kind of philanthropic mindset, but not giving just to get. That would be stuff that can come from being in any of the other imprints. So growing up in an environment where money's seen as a tool for good can make you more inclined to give charitably. You might regularly donate to causes you care about, support friends and family, believe in the flow of abundance, you tithe, you invest in companies. I am now like this, right? Like I said, I have created an abundance imprint. This was not something that came naturally because I didn't want to donate, not because I didn't want to, not because I didn't care, not because I wasn't a generous person, but because I was afraid that there would be a catastrophe and I'd end up with nothing. And in order to donate, you need to be like super, super wealthy to donate. You need to have like so much excess, it's ridiculous to donate. I didn't get it. I didn't understand the law of reciprocity. And when you operate in abundance, whatever you put out comes back to you. As long as what you're putting out, you're not putting it out in a codependent way. You're genuinely doing it, out of a place of service for fun and for free. And it feels so good. And I do not give out any loans to any friends, period, end of story. If I'm giving someone money, it is a gift and I'm never seeing it again because it will ruin a friendship. That was a side tangent, but you needed to be reminded of that. A growth mindset, an abundant mindset fosters obviously a belief in endless possibilities. So if you had a growth mindset, you were surrounded by this growing up, you might pursue continuous learning. You might explore different creative endeavors, different multi passions of yours, because it was safe for you to be interested in maybe like, I want to be in the spa industry, but I'm also really interested in being a content creator, but I'm also really want to be a singer. And that was considered safe to do so. And that you could explore and invest in yourself. And it can lead to greater financial growth and personal growth. And also, not everything had to be tied to money. This is another important thing of the abundance imprint. It's not like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm investing in learning this and I'm attending this thing and there's an ROI on this and there's an ROI on this. And what am I going to get out of this? That's not an abundance imprint. An abundance imprint is whatever I'm supposed to get out of this. It could simply be me having fun, me meeting friends, me being able to play and delight in life. It could be I'm learning a new skill or let me just try it. Like one of the things I did when I was in the deep throes of recovery is my sponsor at the time, she had me go and try new things. I didn't have any hobbies or anything. My hobby was working out. Okay, well that wasn't a hobby, that was an exercise addiction. My other hobby was working. I was a workaholic. The other one was dating. That is not a hobby. Clubbing was also not a hobby. So she wanted me to try different things. And I went and took an embroidery class. And I wasn't like, oh, I'm now going to, have a profitable business off of embroidery. Or I'm going to sell my like shares and wares on Etsy. No, I had to learn to go into things and just delight in them and have fun. And even if I was like, oh, I'm not really into this, I thought I would like it and I don't like it. I did some kind of a painting class, not the sip and paint where you drink and paint. I rather enjoy that activity. This was something way more serious. And I did not like all of the rules. I didn't like all the mixing of the things. It stressed me out. And that's okay. I wasn't mad that I did it, but I tried it, right? Like willingness to experiment. And it doesn't have to tie back to money or some ROI in your life. If you need everything to tie back to an ROI, that's because you're in scarcity. You're feeling like you never have enough and you always have to get, and you always have to get, like allowing yourself to receive things that are far beyond monetary things, right? Like abundance isn't just monetary. Abundance is also in like the delight and wonder and awe and the laughter and the fun of life. Positive relationship with spending. An abundant upbringing often means viewing spending as a way to enhance your life quality. So you might be more comfortable spending money on experiences, education, coaching, self-care, understanding that money is a resource and it's meant to be enjoyed. And I'm not saying in an overspending way. And I will give my mom great credit for this. I did pick up on this attribute of the abundance imprint from her. I have always been someone where I never like overspent because of my anxiously abundance imprint. But I did see the value and I was taught the value in investing in things like making yourself feel good, nice clothes, nails, skin, trips, things like that. And I did learn that from her. So, listen, if I can give this woman some solid credit, okay? Any of you who really want to sit there and put like are kind of stuck in the blame game with an ex-husband, an ex-wife, parents, whatever. I'm not saying they don't deserve some of it, but there's also some beautiful medicine that these people have taught us. Optimism about the future. Ooh, this is one of the biggest gifts of doing this money healing work for me and many other people that I've helped. And people who I know that I've not done work with. They've done work on their own or in other ways. And we talk about it. Having just pure blissful optimism and peace about the future, but not delusional, not future tripping, not fantasy land stuff, but true, an abundant, genuine, grounded feeling about it. So when you grow up with a positive outlook on money, it can make you more optimistic about financial opportunities. You're not so focused on what could go wrong. What if this doesn't work? What if I lose all this money? What if I spend this money on Tiffany's course and it doesn't work for me? What if I register for Tiffany's 2-day in-person event and I fly there and I get a hotel and I participate and I don't get anything out of it? You're not thinking that way. Instead, you're thinking and trusting your inner guide. And when you're drawn to doing something and you're like, no, this is for me, this is an investment with me. And I trust I'm being drawn to it for a reason. And I can trust my inner guide. And I'm going to pursue this because what I want on the other side is clear. And I know this is going to help me in some way. And any sort of financial setbacks that occur or any time frame of something taking longer than my ego wants, I know it's in divine timing. I know any setbacks are temporary and surmountable. And I know that it's all really happening for my greater good of all. Like nothing you touch is going to automatically happen quickly and turn into gold. It's like you're not going to have an instant win all the time, but we do get some nice quick wins in life. And thank God for those. But truly, that we know that that's not part of life. And when you can have that outlook and you were given that gift, and a lot of people learned that from an abundance imprint when there would be problems, consequences, things that came up, and observing how your caregivers, how your parents handled them. Maybe there was layoffs. Maybe they didn't get the job. They didn't get the raise. They got hit. Something happened at the business. Their family restaurant caught on fire. I had a client that was one of my mastermind attendees whose mom who owned the family business and she died suddenly. And then she inherited this business and was like, what the hell? Like, and how she has kept that business going is as a result of the imprint, the abundance imprint her mother gave her in running this family store, which is really remarkable to see. And she's not even here anymore. I know a lot of you want to leave a legacy with your children that you have, the children you will have, those that you care about in your life. God, you know what the best legacy that you can leave would be doing this work and passing this wisdom forward. And it's not too late. I know some of you are going, oh my God, the stuff that my kids picked up from me, da 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 da, da, or they're picking up from me now, or the shit they're picking up from their father, and I have no control over that, and or vice versa. It's okay. It's not too late. That's what's so amazing about kids. Even if my own mother, okay, and those of you guys, if you're new to me, you're coming to me and you're new, first of all, like, yes, we see what's going on here. We are the land of the misfit toys, and I am not mentally sound. But I share much deeper into my story inside my Make More Work Less Money program. And it is with deep purpose that I do so. It's not to elicit sympathy or pity or anything like that from anyone. But my point is, in terms of resiliency, even as a grown adult or an adult child, as I refer to myself, if my mother came to me today, but no, she is a narcissist, so obviously I'd have to contact my therapist and probably alert the authorities. But even if I got like a letter from her that was apologizing or something, it would feel really good, even if I knew it was in a manipulation. We're so resilient, like I think about a lot lately because I just know like the end of her life has got to be coming soon because she's so thin from having an eating disorder my entire life. And those of you who are familiar with eating disorders like that, they're progressive. And, I picture like me going to her hospital bed and she's so tiny. Even the last time I'm no contact with her, but like, I remember the last time I saw her just so tiny. I mean, I could curl her with one arm. So tiny. She's always been tiny. And she loves knowing that. Like, even if she was listening to this now, she would love that. If she literally died because of being too skinny, she would love that. I'm not joking you. That's how strong that fucking disease is. And I would probably like, who the fuck knows who'd be in that room? Probably people thinking there was some money they could get from her, but I would like clear the room and I would crawl in that bed with her, even today, even with what she did to me. So, any of you, and I know any of you listening, I know none of you did any of that. And you're probably hard on yourself of like, oh my God, what imprint did what bundle did I pass to my kid and how horrible. It goes so far to open up this conversation. You can even send this series. Obviously, if your kid's 8, this might be a little heavy. But you could send this series and you can start now. It's not too late. Even if you have, kids that are teens or whatever, you can undo so much so quickly and with such humility, even saying like, I know you probably picked up on this, and this, and I didn't realize I was doing this, and opening up conversation about it. Oh my God, it will go so far. And that legacy will pay off for generations to come. That's what really moves me, about this work. Next thing. Oh, I'm like really choked up about this. Okay. Entrepreneurial spirit. An abundantly minded household encourages like this innovation and creativity. So you they're naturally more inclined to pursue an unconventional career. Maybe they weren't taught like you have to be a lawyer, you have to be a doctor, you have to get a corporate job. They were allowed to pursue the arts, be a healer, do something that might not be an actor. I actually have met some of these people in LA where their parents genuinely supported them being in the creative arts, being even content creators. And I am blown away. And I think it is so beautiful that they've been given that permission to do that. And, yeah, are they making ends meet? Maybe at this point, it might not look that cute, but they're delighted and happy and they're in the pursuit of what they want to do. And I think that's such a beautiful gift. Long-term planning with a positive approach to money, you'll be more strategic about long-term planning. You'll prioritize some savings, but not oversave, investment portfolios, generational wealth, knowing that abundance is about sustained prosperity. You won't have these intense fluctuations of money. You will still have ups and downs, but they're not going to be these giant spikes. Okay. Ups and downs are normal, But there's going to be like, why I always say when I'm sharing and talking about offers and what I specialize in teaching you, where it's consistent monthly income, there's consistency. That's what we want. There's people who can teach you how to have one hot month or one hot week or one hot launch, but that's not abundance, prosperity. That is not true wealth freedom that you can depend on it, where you have X amount, even on a slow month, you're making 10 grand a month, 15 grand a month. I know even on a month that I'm not well, I'm doing other things. I mean, worst case scenario, $50,000 a month, absolute worst case scenario. Okay. And it's like, I've built up to that, but that's true financial freedom when you know that with a grounded knowing, right? Because you feel secure, you have security, you have safety. You can make a lot of an abundant decisions out of that place. Positive money conversations. You're comfortable talking about money, so you'll engage in open financial conversations with partners, family, friends, employees, fellow entrepreneurs. And this transparency can lead to better financial planning and ideas and make you more money because you're having enlightened, in-depth conversations around it. There's not some like stigma and weirdness around talking about it, right? It's like there's nothing wrong with talking about it. We're advancing our energy around it. We're increasing our abundant vibration because of talking about it, which is something we do at my 2-day in-person mastermind, where it becomes fun to talk about it and we delight in talking about it. And it's okay to talk about what scares us. And it's also okay to talk about what we want. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if we don't feel good about talking about that, how in the hell can the universe co-manifest it? How could we ever call it in? Investment in relationships, recognizing that wealth extends beyond finances. You might invest in building strong personal and professional relationships. This network can provide emotional support, opportunities, collaborative success. When you're in that abundant state and you're good, you guys don't see me going to networking events. Okay. Like I don't. If it sounds fun or I'm supporting a friend, I might do it. Right. But I'm doing it out of that place. I'm not doing it out of where I used to do it was, oh, I hope I get clients here. Who am I going to meet? Whose card am I going to get? Gross, gross, gross. And then I'd be come home exhausted because it felt like a job. Now, if you guys see me at any of these things, I'm either speaking at it, I'm supporting a friend or a client, or it sounds fun. It's like these influencer events I'm now getting invited to because apparently I'm a skin influencer on TikTok, which I'm still laughing about. And I'm also here for it. Last one, innovation and creativity. This is one of those unexpected blessings of doing this work. An abundant mindset will foster a creative approach to problem solving. You'll be more innovative in your career. You'll be more innovative in coming up with ways to monetize your gifts, passions, and talents online. You'll find unique solutions and opportunities that others might overlook, because while they're in scarcity, while their vibration is like down here, you're vibrating in an abundant state. And so you see possibilities and you see avenues and you see ideas and ways that others don't see. And that's the other very cool thing and powerful thing and quite lucrative thing that happens in my 2-day in-person event, is because I am having my entire team here, which is incredible. And my personal healers and subconscious coaches are here during this time, that you are around such solid people who've done this work, that they can see things and avenues for you and solutions to things and ways and easier ways and simpler ways and more fun ways for you to have what it is that you want in your life. And you'll go, oh my God, like I literally just got this download or just got this intel from being here. And this is everything. I mean, people have their multi-million dollar ideas from coming, because you're you're expanding, we're stretching you, we're taking you out of kind of the stuck, gunky energy spot, and we're cleaning out the debris. And then the abundance flows in, the creative thinking flows in. You're not so weighed down and heavy. You feel light and free and expansive. And that is when the content ideas come in, the ideas for a book, the title of a podcast, something that you could create, a new program, a new offer. Maybe you want to make a career pivot. You want to have a different avenue that you focus on in your life, and something that you want to explore, because you're not so weighed down in this heavy burden of scarcity. It's such a beautiful thing to witness. And I'm so blessed that I was willing and resilient and humble enough to do this work, because I get to be evidence for you of what's waiting on the other side. And I try to bring as many people as I can on my podcast that are also evidence for you. So it's not just me saying it, because I know your ego can go, well, that's just Tiffany. She's just blah, blah, blah. No, there's a lot of undeniable evidence there for you. And now it's in your hands to make the choice, to do the work, to do the next step. Please share this series with someone if you loved it and appreciated it. All I'm asking for in exchange of this 5 years of cumulative work that I've done for this study of mine is for you to leave a written Apple review. It takes you 30 seconds. If you don't know how to do it, you can Google it or YouTube it. It's very clear once you do it. Apple doesn't make it obvious, but when you Google it, it's very obvious. And you can only leave a written review on Apple. You can put your name if you want. You can put your TikTok or Instagram handle in the review. And when I share them in my stories, I'll shout you out. If you don't want me to, then you don't need to put that in there. If you listen on Spotify, for sure, tap the 5 stars and share the show. Like, share it with people share it and share a link with it, share it and tag me. Maybe you're listening on Amazon Music. You're likely also watching it on Project Me TV. Please also share the link for Project Me TV. Share it in your social media. Share it with your inner circle. I think what would really put the cherry on top for you guys is, especially if you're in partnership with someone, is to have your partner listen to this. And if you have kids or siblings that are, I would say, I think you would need to be 16, 17 years old or older. I could be wrong. You could have a very mature 14-year-old, but I'm just thinking of myself, and I was pretty mature. I would have had, for me to have really understood this, I could have understood it at 16 or older. And it will really open up a great conversation, especially if you've not had money conversations and those kind of feel like cringy to you in your relationship or in relationships in your life, with kids, siblings, partners, whatever. This is a great icebreaker for that. And we have a lot of male listeners of the show. I know it's dominant in female audience. It's about a 70-30 split. So there's a lot of dudes that really enjoy the show. So I feel really confident that it's going to be something that is relatable regardless of whatever you identify as. Okay. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you guys so much.